Ethan had just started his graduate program in civil engineering. It wasn't glamorous, but he was focused on his degree, not his social life. His apartment was in a sketchy part of town, but the rent was cheap and the commute didn't bother him. He was in his mid-20s, confident he could handle himself. Life was uneventful, maybe a little boring, but he was okay with that, until his backpack got stolen. It happened on a regular afternoon. He'd left his backpack on a table in an empty lecture hall to use the bathroom. Just for a minute. When he returned, it was gone. No cameras, no witnesses. Just like that, his wallet, keys, and laptop were in someone else's hands. He was more annoyed than scared. Canceling his cards, reporting his keys, and shopping for a new laptop was a hassle, but he figured it was just bad luck. A few days later, Ethan found a note slipped under his apartment door. It was handwritten on a crumpled piece of paper, and it simply read, "I see you." His heart sank. Whoever took his backpack knew where he lived. Panic washed over him as he realized the thief also had his apartment keys. He bolted inside and slammed the door, locking the deadbolt. It felt like a fragile barrier between him and whoever was out there. Over the next week, more notes appeared, always handwritten, always cryptic. "I know what you did. Watch yourself." They were short but haunting, enough to make his skin crawl. Ethan hadn't done anything wrong, but the thought of someone combing through his laptop, his photos, his files, left him feeling exposed, vulnerable. One night, as he was getting ready for bed, he noticed a flash outside his window, like a camera. His blinds were half closed and his room was dimly lit, but he was sure someone had taken a picture of him. He rushed to the window and yanked the blinds shut, peering through the slats. But the street below was empty. Yet his heart raced, and he felt eyes on him even when no one was there. Then things started moving around his apartment. At first it was subtle. His shoes weren't where he remembered leaving them. His coat was draped over the chair instead of hung up. He tried to brush it off as forgetfulness, but the disturbances grew bolder. One evening, he came home to chaos. His bed was stripped bare, sheets crumpled on the floor, his dresser drawers were pulled out, and his books were scattered. It looked like someone had torn the place apart searching for something, but nothing was missing. No valuables were taken. The police came, but with no sign of forced entry, they did little more than take a statement. Ethan begged his landlord to change the locks, explaining the stalker had his keys. But the landlord shrugged it off, saying it would take a couple of days. Ethan felt a chill of betrayal. Didn't he understand the danger? The next night, Ethan sat in his dark apartment, every creak and whisper amplified in his paranoia. He kept his eyes on the door, the deadbolt his only security. Exhausted but too scared to sleep, he lay in his bed, staring at the ceiling, willing himself to relax. Then he heard it, a faint scraping sound, like metal against metal. His blood ran cold. The doorknob jiggled ever so slightly. Someone was trying to get in. Ethan held his breath, every muscle tense as he watched the knob twist slowly. But the deadbolt held firm. After a moment, the sound stopped. Silence. But the dread lingered. Morning came, bringing with it a final note, taped to his door this time. It read, "You can't lock me out forever." Ethan knew then that his stalker wasn't just trying to scare him. They were planning to come inside, and next time, they wouldn't stop at the door. He realized he was no longer safe. Not here, not anywhere.